Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. That was loud, I apologize, but we have to join a Sejuani gameplay because tank junglers have been dead for way too long, and it's time we showed you how to play low econ, effective ganking, and having the ultimate ability to close games with mastering teamfighting. We talked about this a little bit with the Ivern gameplay last week, and we've talked a little bit about this with assassins, with the Zed and with the Kiana and with the Talon, as degenerate as they are. However, that's a very different ball game when you're playing against something that can't 1v1 the enemy jungler, can't power farm as much as the enemy jungler, and simply struggles to keep up pacing. You have to now dictate how to do that. Runes on your screen now, Aftershock Gaming it is. There is a Glacial Augment replay that I wanted to cover. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, at least from the graph chart. Unfortunately, the replay didn't work because Riot Games technologies, sometimes the replays don't work. So we're going to go for a standard Aftershock, which is the best play, but you can do Glacial should you wish. All right, let's just make sure we have some sound. We do. Very good. Right, we're starting in the red. Always start E. Remember, Sejuani is better when you have melees, and if you are an intelligent individual, highly educated baboon, if you will, Kiana and this dude are in fact melee. Don't have it on the bot lane, but that's fine. The melee stacking on your E is absolutely huge. If you have an Echo mid, a melee mid, free dragons for life, essentially. It looks like, and most of the time you will see Sejuani's go for full clear. This is nice, because we've had way too many invades. Too many. And they present weird things, and I don't like it. Sometimes it's good to have a good old-fashioned full clear. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I don't actually think, I mean, I don't like it. I prefer 3 camp action, I prefer 4 camp action, 5 camp action. I'm not a super, not a super full clear person, but at the point when you're a tank jungler, it's very, very good to do because you cannot simply match against the enemy jungler. You cannot match their cadence. You have to respect it and pick your XP spike, experience spikes appropriately. Nice dragging of the Raptor up to the top side. LeBlanc uses her shove mid lane toward it, so everyone in the red team knows red Krugs Raptors because of the timing. HCS, CM1 Raptors, doesn't take a genius. Is able to get a kill on the LeBlanc, and Lee Sin does a cleanup. Now, if you're the Sejuani, let's make sure we get that. There we go. Okay, if you're the Sejuani, you're doing your wolves and you're watching this. You gotta watch this. The queue of destiny. As soon as LeBlanc goes up, you know Lee Sin's there, even if he doesn't show up. As soon as she goes up, you know he's most likely in that situation from his Raptors. Now he goes down, okay? He's gonna leave that, she's gonna TP in, and now what you notice, that's all you have to notice. That's all you have to notice, right? You track it, you understand where Lee Sin's gone, you ping it out to your bottom lane, good. And now we can go and look to gank top lane. Remember, that E, real juicy on a melee. Sejuani passive goes activo. We do have Q, we want to try and hold it. We want to hit the, that's it. That's perfect. You use your W to try and get multiple stacks for that E. She will most likely flash that because it slows. Then you can use your Q flash to make sure you get 100% hits, and that's a free kill. Very well played. And again, you're looking for that full clear ideally, but if something happens where you can rotate to it, please do so, and that's what I was talking about. The goal is a full clear, but when this looks primed, no Lee Sin's going down, no LeBlanc seeping mid, insert kid thumbing up at the computer meme, because you can easily go top side and not worry about being counter ganked, which is obviously the bane of all existence when it comes to tank junglers. Now, the Lee Sin obviously picked up another kill. Doesn't really matter that you ping it out, they die anyway, right? We're not really following the Lee Sin as much, we're following the Sejuani. And alcohol kills dying to heal. That makes sense because she went cleanse. So a tank jungler thrives on the one and only repeat and abuse. So we fall back down, take the crab, take out blue, take out Grom. Riven shows back top lane, pushes again narcissistically, and Sejuani can show up knowing full well that she has stuns for 1,000 years and stuns for 1,000 more. So basically you could put it into a foundation novel, because that's the kind of time scale you're talking when you talk about Sejuani CC. Lee Sin is here, and for some strange reason, Karma's just like, you know what, I'm going to face check that because I happen to be Karma. LeBlanc does the mega dashy and is going to try and kill the Kiana, but it backfires so drastically. Nice dodge of the Lee Sin Q, nice bubble from the Nami. The Lee Sin attempts to get a kill himself, but has to back out. So Sejuani, in the meantime, as a tank jungler, can you match this? Could you rotate? Did he go back to base? Did you? So we don't really want to do that right now. Let him take this. He's only level 3, the fool. Go and take his Krugs, especially seeing as if he did Krugs Raptors, that is a level 4 Krug camp, my ladies and gentlemen. That's a level 4 Krug camp. So now you're level 5 through a little bit of reactive pathing, avoiding the enemy jungler, and capitalizing on the Fiesta by counter jungling a high tier camp, whereas he takes your Raptors, that's fine, but the Krugs are worth more. So, checkmate Sejuani. You know, in favor of Sejuani, obviously. Checkmate Lee Sin. Now, he's still level 3. You saw she was going to go to the bottom side here, and now we see he's fallen back to his blue side. Obviously, if he does gank mid lane and then ganks bot lane, and then you see him go back to base to get that item spike, right? He won't have his blue, so you got to keep track of that. Talk more about that in coaching sessions and things like this, because we can pause and explain. She was going to go bottom side, but there's no point if your bottom lane isn't primed and your Raptors are gone. So we can take out second tier Wolf camp, and now we can move to look to make another move. Now, yeah, you can look to move to make another move. Genius, really. And when Lee Sin falls back to, if he takes the bottom side, he falls back to his blue side jungle because you know he hadn't taken his blue yet, you can afford to basically say, look, top side, my Grom's going to respawn at some point, my Wolves are up, he's got a level 5 Raptor camp that might as well snack for myself, and put a ward here. So this high traffic zone, the autobahn of the jungle, basically, high speed, is now warded. So we can cover that. Use the counter jungling at level 6 to get a good angle. The fact that she goes down should make you a little bit nervous, but bottom lane is rotating as well, which means we have numbers. We miss the ult and we get the slow, so not quite an X-Smithy. Just an X, basically. And now we can move out. So I'm not a fan of using my ult on hyper-mobile champions. I'll be honest with you. It's not something that I'm a huge fan of. I understand pulling the trigger, stacking CC with your whole team there, but will we be able to really knock it out of the park? No. I mean, if Seraphine had the music of the damned with her ultimate, we could maybe try something, but she didn't. So, yeah, her passive could come up, but it's just too high variance to try and use all of that on the LeBlanc. Now, Nami is rotating again. We saw the Lee Sin show up here, which means we know he's going to be doing his red side. So, very safely, avoid him. You see how this is working? Just avoid him. Avoid him. And obviously, for those who don't know, the passive is immune to slows and a lot of tankiness, which is why we have that original build of Sunfire Warmog's Stoneblade, which I actually still like. I'm not going to lie to you. I still like it. Nami is in the river for some strange reason, ditching her Jinx. This is horrific support play. You will say, well, the jungler's benefiting. Well, yes, that's good jungling. We know Lee Sin's top side. Woo! Very good. Very nice. Okay, so we know very much so that the Lee Sin was on the other side, and you don't want to face him on the top side. Pings the Herald because we anticipate that the Lee Sin will go red side into Herald. That's what they think is happening, because that's a logical assumption at this point. Although you never know exactly what they're doing until you have visual confirmation. So when it comes to reactive tracking, you can kind of ping an idea, but please understand that until you see them, it's really just an idea, because you don't know what kind of jungler you're playing against. So at this point, you can really highly anticipate he's taking your camps, all the Herald, or both if you choose to stay on the bottom side. So here we go. Control ward, ward hub, top side, dies. And you know why he's making that play? Because he's desperate. Was he 2-0? Yes. But you experience controlled him with that counter jungling, and he tried too hard to make plays happen. And that's why ganking and fighting like this are supremely high variance. When it doesn't pay off, and a good old-fashioned tank jungler just does a bit of map control and a little bit of repeat ganking early, you just end up with a lead over the enemy jungler. And this is what happens in Clash. You guys force way too much stuff on your Lee Sins, and the tank jungler just farms a little bit, counter jungles a little bit, sneaks an objective when you're on the opposite side. Boom, they're up in XP, and that's all you're looking to do. It's the pathing of the avoidance that's most important. Now, the Karma's pinging this, so yeah, this makes sense here. The Lee Sin died. Is he going to go bottom side and take those bottom side camps, or is he just going to go directly to the Herald, right? And this is what the question is. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. There's definitely a top crab and a Herald available, but there's nothing really to fall back to. So the Lee Sin does a good job of saying, you know what, I need some experience, let me take the crab and get out. Definitely a better call than doing the Herald in that case, because Sejuani was bottom side, she's going to be coming top side. And it's obviously an anticipation read by the Sejuani and the Karma saying, look, he might have just tried to get the catch-up XP on the Epic Monster, because Heralds and Dragons still have that. So when you're behind, it's pretty good to sneak him. Anticipation read, he wasn't actually on it. You lose the crab, no biggie. shove him off of it. Combo goes back to the bottom lane. Fidget spinner, Garen shows up. There he goes. Very nice. You've got the Trinomir Garen meta at this point. Make sure you smite hit the eyeball. Right, like right. Touch it gently. Little centrally, if you will, and it will just pop, and you can smite it for a nice combo. It's good. It's good. We see, listen, you see that. This is for me. Why? This is like a Grandmaster game. Challenger junglers do this as well, right? Look at this. So LeBlanc goes bottom lane. Okay, does LeBlanc things. I mean, people flame Yone, but look at this. Right? Look at this vision. You have to understand the vision radius here, right? This wave is too far pushed up. This wave needs to be here, at the very least, to be safe, okay? A little bit further back, in line with the edge of the bush is always a good rule of thumb. But now it's pushed up here, so it's almost, what, a third of the way, almost half of the way, 2/5 of the way even. We'll go with that, 2/5. And so it gives a little bit of residual extra vision on the bottom side, and he just walked into it. So everyone should have seen that, although did they? I saw it out of the corner of my eye looking at Sejuani, just by looking at the map, so. Bad pathing, rewards a flash anyway, bottom lane should have seen it. But again, I play bottom lane, I get paranoid. Sejuani again, haha, your bottom side. I have Herald, 10 minutes 41. Riven is here, level 8 to level 9. She goes in, she uses that Q W combo to try get, even though you don't get the stun on the Q, you get the slow on the W. Lee Sin, my friend. Okay. This is weird. These are very aggressive and not well-measured plays by the jungler. And as a tank jungler, you are rewarded by actually having high-measured plays. You see, this is all just high-variance, perma-fisting fiesta nonsense. And if this was a bootcamp, we'd be explaining to you why you should not be doing this as Lee Sin. But what the Sejuani is doing is just saying, baseline. You do this, I'm gonna take this. Take something sure. Take something reliable. Now, obviously, I don't think we should be dying underneath a tower. We just wanted the plates and to push it, but people love to over-push and die. The Karthus video on the main channel, the farming video, that was a literal Smurf Q game with challenger people on Smurf champions that they know how to play. And they were just pushing a second tier tower. Everyone retreated and the two of them died. Gave 1,000 gold and shut down, and now you're like, oh. Now we have to wait again to make plays. I don't know. People hungry. People down bad, but for gold. Top crab spawning. Riven is going to go to the top side. There's no Dragon just yet, so in theory you could look to hold this, but there's nothing really much that we need to hold because the wave is here. So we can go ahead and snack this. This one's crashing, but it doesn't really matter. We can take this and we can take the crab, because Garen's showing up, that's fine. You could hold it, but honestly, nah. I agree with this one. I like doing Crumb into crab and look for another play, because she's not actually going to overstay and get plates. If she stays and gets plates and you're a carry jungler, just go kill her. Always good. Grump into red. Nice invade. You see the particles here? You see the particles here? So this is a very classic play that you're going to see from top laners. Very, very classic play. I like this. Kiana's rotating as well. We don't quite have ultimate up yet, but we do have a lot of CC and mobility. Very well played by the red team. Now, in your low elo games, what's a Garen going to do? You're going to do Grump Scuttle thinking, I don't really need to hold it because Garen's coming with the wave. And he's just going to push up. And he's going to push up and he's going to push up. And then the whole team collapses on him and dies. And you say, well, Garen, you suck. Please shadow the winning lane. The Garen's splitting top lane, right? He has a huge lead. Okay. You are ahead of everyone else. There's a red buff available. Shadow him by being an enemy jungle at the same time. And if that play does happen, collapse and kill. And now you're pushing the map, living in their jungle, forcing plays. And we're only 2-0-2, but this has been a very good, measured, active game, right? And now, the benefit of being a Sejuani tank jungler is that level 9, what was he? Was he still 7 or 8? I actually wasn't even paying attention. I apologize for that one. Sometimes it's hard to pay attention to everything while talking in real time. I do my best. That's why there's 2 casters per game. But there's a dragon up, so we can float on down to that. Definitely make sure you control your objectives. The Herald play was a good reason for that. Oh, he's actually 9 now. Excuse me. So, ensure that the objective ping pong is in your favor, because the thing that can make the late game rough if you're a tank jungler, if you let them get away with those plays and you don't get objectives, is that now you're just playing an uphill battle. So being equal or having a lead, even if it's a small lead, See, that one we hit. Oh, man. Chain CC with Sejuani. Beautiful. So there's nothing up here, we know it. There's nothing up here, we know it. The Hextech Drake was just secured. Where's the leasing gonna be? 99% on the bottom side. That doesn't take a rocket scientist. Maybe it does for some people, but it doesn't really. Fall back to your jungles. Reward yourself with camps. We can look at the cash monies. 958 don't actually have that much. The Frostfire is finished. We spoke Sunfire at the beginning, but Frostfire is really good for that bonus health. Really nice bonus health. And size and slow, especially against a more mobile team comp, you see? You're against a team fight. Look at this. Look at this. You see this? Focus on that support. They cannot kill you. If they choose to go backline, their healing support will not be able to do anything. We might be able to die. We might die here against a normal combo. We have a lot of shielding and healing. Oh! We got him. You see the Jinx ult. Nice flash. Always flash to survive. So, in a way, as an assassin, what would you do in that fight? You just perma-fist the support. You just kill the support, right? And now you turn to the next target in front of your teams. Sejuani does it the same way. She can deal with it, kill them, but she can also absorb all damage if they try and protect her. So the enemy team's like, well, do we waste our spells on the Sejuani trying to protect the Nami? Or do we try to do something else to our backline? And it makes things very difficult for them to navigate, especially when you're so giga turbo tanky and ahead. Bramble Vest. Yeah, I guess we don't really have a choice, do we? Don't really have a choice. It's a good item to build in this situation. The utility of that item, I don't like. I wish I didn't have to build it. You could argue, I mean, if there was no Nami and there wasn't a Lee Sin and a Riven. What are you doing, Fish? What are you doing, Fish? We see the Lee Sin. Okay. Okay. Assassin Sejuani. Yes. So when people say tanks can't have fun, you be lying. Look at that. And now because you're tank also, you can do that and get out because you got a lot of mobility as well. This is very important. You see, like I'm saying, they're collapsing. In a low elo game, people wouldn't know their champion limits. They would just die. You know, in high elo, you know your champion limits. You kill, you get out, no sweat. Now, we do have Garen splitting here, so we could in theory look to Shadow, but what he should do is realize that Sejuani can't because she needs to go mid lane to break this tower, and there's a Herald available, so he's going to push that and kite down. We have 3 people mid lane. We can join from the top flank, and we burn a free flash. Lee Sin, in the meantime, is down here doing who knows what, and they're tower diving a Kiana. The Chains of Pain miss, and she will die anyway. That's very fascinating. If they step out of position with no flash, please do engage. Please. Please, 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 please. That's the biggest thing. Sorakas, Namis, Jinxes, anything immobile. Jins obviously has a bit of range and speed, but principle stands. If they have no sums and they're immobile, and you're the tank, and you have numbers advantage, pull the trigger, engage. But don't engage to Narnia, because that happens way too much. You queue in, right? You end up here, and you're like, team, why do you no follow? And the team's just, you know, doing a campfire dance in the middle of mid lane. That's your bad for engaging. Yeah, they shouldn't be doing that and singing ancient chants, but at the same time, why are you engaging if that's the case, you know? Join them for a little bit, and then once everyone's happy and ready to move, you can place a 5-stack. As if, right? Lee Sin's pushing bottom lane. Actually, this is very interesting. This is very, very, very interesting. Not that. Well, that was idiocy. But the concept here of, hey, we're behind. I'm the jungler. Can I split to offset pressure? Can I split to offset pressure, get some bounty cash money, and look to bring my team back into the game that way? Yes, you can. And I actually have 2 coaching sessions and a personal game where I backdoored with Warwick, which was pretty funny, and opened the map through splitting. Maybe we can do something on that. How to win as a jungler when your team are lizards at macro. What the Lee Sin did was terrible. You don't want to die doing it, but the principle is there actually, and you can do it with a lot of junglers. So maybe that's something we can cover as well. But as a tank in that situation, be with your team, collapse and rotate, deep vision into their jungler here, and you're noticing that it isn't anything groundbreaking. It's just strong. Tim Duncan, the big fundamental. If you watch NBA, that's what this is. You're just a good old-fashioned fundamental jungler. You do the things you need to do, and you can win a lot of games. If you do it right, obviously. I don't know why people do what they do sometimes, but, you know, there is a bounty on the dragon. They did choose to get the Herald. I think either way in this situation, you know, it doesn't really matter. Pull the trigger on this fight though. That's fine. Like the bounty doesn't mean anything. You get such a big lead. It doesn't really mean too much, but they will start to add up a little bit. Like they get the tower, they get the dragon. It does add up a little bit, but as a 5-stack, you still have a huge lead in terms of gold, and you can very easily just win that fight. So, ideally, we do have the Herald and the Drake. Ideally, but they will get something at some point. Specifically, since you know your team are also just having fun, and you're just focusing on the big fundamental. Now, 2200. We do have a tier. Obviously, we are going for that Fimbulwinter, and this is that same kind of logic, yeah, of the Warmogs, except this time it's blue Sejuani gaming, because we get a bit of that shield whenever we CC stuff. Now, the reason I don't always like this necessarily is because you get more mana, right? Sorry, excuse me. The mana you get here is really good for the item. So if you're building like a Frozen Heart for a Jinx, plus you have Fimbulwinter, plus you have additional itemization like Aranduins, if they're all AD, for example, that's great, you know? But it still does a decent amount of giving you a shield. Now you can imagine having Fimbulwinter plus a Gargoyles. If you have a lot of healing, you could do Spirit Visage. But at the same time, Force of Nature just is so good against heavy AP. Either way, just a few fleeting thoughts about that. I haven't really thought deeply about the mathematics of Fimbulwinter on tanks. I do like it, but it's not always the best. On Ornn and Sejuani, you can justify because you have an innate passive that gives you a lot of resistances, but certain other junglers just need the resistances. And obviously got Bramble Vest. Right, tank the tower, ult the person, get a lot of slows. Look at this, we just stay. This is it, this is it. I love this so much. I do this with Ornn all the time. You just ult on the tower, and you stay there, and eventually your team recognizes what's going on, and they look at you like the sun rising, and they just open their eyes for the first time when they're a newborn baby, and they realize, whoa! And if you watch C, they call it the God Flame, except it's you. It's you. You're making a play. You're tanking a tower shot, you're pushing the map forward with the control of your resistance and inherent awesomeness, and your team follows. If your team doesn't follow in that situation, they're griefing. 100%. But in Flex 5s and Clash 5s, where you're most likely playing a tank, they will follow, unless they're idiots. And obviously, in solo queue high elo, they usually will follow, but, you know, play by ear. You do have to be careful here. Nice smite, nice smite, nice smite. I get kind of nervous. I get kind of nervous even from enemy champions doing more damage, and you kind of, someone bursts it. Like, so you're gonna smite it. Let me explain while she does this, and she goes and cleans up. There we go. Assassin Sejuani activation. So what happens is, even if there's no jungler, the Baron's HP is trickling down, it's trickling down, it's trickling down, and you've got this timer in your mind. Okay, I'm gonna smite based upon this pace. And then the whole enemy team and your team just bursts it at 1200 and it goes to 200, and then just a random spell takes it before you can smite. But she had more than enough time to smite there, which is good, which is good. It's the case, I'm paranoid a little bit. I'm so used to Xerath's and Ezreal's just comboing at 1500, and then it's at 100, and then LeBlanc just chains over, and I didn't even have a time to smite because it happened in 0.2 seconds. So, just again, fleeting thoughts, but this is a nice meaty tank game. See how she's frontlining? See how she's frontlining? She's just sitting in front, in between. Just sitting in front and between. Lee Sin, I don't know. An inhuman game, but for sure. The lizard population is rejoicing at what they just observed because, come on, but for the rest of us, no. This is actually pretty prudent. There's a Jinx. You have 700 gold shut down. You see? You see LeBlanc? You see LeBlanc? It's prudent just to pull off here. Just go back to base. Yeah. I mean, if she wants to go and clean up, let her do things. But if you've got a lot of gold and there's a Jinx and a Nami and you've got, what, 650, 700, 400. Oi, can you imagine someone goes too far and everyone dies? Oi, not good. So now this Sejuani's going to the blue side here purely because, see, there's 900. Now imagine that goes on the Jinx. People have come back from, I've come back from games like this. You guys have come back from games like this. You have. It's largely because you try and end too soon, or you don't end when you could have. In this situation, you can kind of observe what's going to happen, so you can afford to fill that time by doing your blue side and doing this. I mean, we probably could have done the Gromp and the Scuttle as well, and then just moved on down. I think that was probably just, we could have done that. We could have done that. And once you do that, you have a bit more time to maybe float with the red, or just go down and shadow the Garen, which is probably what you want to do, and then you can fall back to the dragon if necessary. Otherwise, if someone's overcommitting, do the good work of CCing the target that you wish to see destroyed. Tanks and tower shots, and obviously we have this finish now, and LeBlanc isn't an issue. People say, well, why don't you go magic resist if there's a LeBlanc or something like this? Unless it's a 15-0 Kassadin, it doesn't really matter, because you're typically focusing her, and she's typically not attacking you. So this is something about dynamic tank itemization. If you're not being attacked by like the lone AP threat or lone AD threat, you don't really have to itemize for it. See, look at this, just engaging and zoning, engaging and zoning. Look at this. They cannot get through Sejuani and Garen. They're both just frontlining, right? Now you pull out and wait for your CC a little bit, get some heals, then you go back in. Look at this. Seraphine's just sitting on the back. Seraphine and Karma just sitting on the back, and he's just pushing in front. It's beautiful. You just be the meat sack shield. You play in between your carries and the enemy team all the time, annoy them, and yeah, great example of a perfect run-of-the-mill map control, avoiding the enemy jungler, getting fed and feeding the laners who need to be fed, and playing around what happens, but as a tank. And let's not kid ourselves, a little bit of Assassin Sejuani was kind of fun. I do it on Ornn too. Any tank can assassinate now. It's the modern game, unfortunately. I play tanks because I just want to tank stuff. That's it. But if I have to do damage, I will. Anyway, hope you enjoyed and learned something. Please do like, share, and comment. If you did, don't forget to fill out the bootcamp questionnaire. Although I'm not sure when this will go. Hey, maybe Wednesday. So yes, fill out the bootcamp questionnaire as well. Twitch chat, you're watching, please do that again. Yeah, main channel videos this week. Best junglers end of the week. Thank you very much for watching. And as always, I will see you all in the next tutorial.